It's your boy E Tally back at it again, and it's that Tuesday that where we take the uncommon approach, and I'm here with Coach V. Take it over, Coach.
How you doing today, Coach? How you
I'm
doing?
doing out.
Everything good?
Everything is great. How about yourself?
Good, good. I hear big things are coming for you. I mean, I'm not going to unleash the beast yet, but it sounds like November is going to be a big month for Coach Towley and the things you've been doing for the city. So, congrats. I mean, I'm not going to say it live, but congrats on what's coming up. I think it's going to be good for a lot of kids.
I mean, I appreciate it. And again, this is where I want to extend the invitation to you and just what we're doing. And again, I would like to try to see as many kids in the city take the uncommon approach. And again, like I say, it's not for everybody, but it is for the kids that believe they are uncommon. And
I, 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 I'm sorry. I think it's for everybody, and I'm going to keep saying this. That seriously wants to try to play college. I don't care if you're a great shooter, great player yet, or an elite. I think the one that are serious. And when I say serious, parents know their kids. If they're putting in extra work after practice, if they're doing it on their own, I mean, we've talked about that, whether it's baseball, football, or anything. That kid doesn't have to be a finished product. I mean, but he's at least loves the game enough that he wants to work at it. I can provide a roadmap and I can help that kind of kid tremendously when I have time on my side. I mean, it's just been proven they're not ready for exposure, but they're dedicated to really trying to improve. That's really a real dream of theirs. We spoke about that a little bit.
Coach, I'm not being a negative Nancy here, but at the same time, like I'm telling you, just being in the gyms and just seeing certain kids that have great assets and and uh and have the great approach, I think and I know for sure everyone doesn't see it right now. And so that's why I'm trying to invite the ones who see it, who believe in it, and just want to take that time out their day to possibly invest in that kid just to say, hey, you know what? This is something that I want to make sure my kid gets the best opportunity. That's what we're trying to provide right now, opportunity. We're not trying to provide them any guarantees, but just opportunity. So that's why I say that, man. But again,
But I
you're
think I
right.
think there's three layers of opportunities around any city. I think there's one for and I say this at my big camps when I get to the spring, when it gets down to kind of nut cutting time, and these kids' livelihoods on the line. I mean, I really don't. I really don't mess around with spring camps, man. It just there are kids in there that really need an opportunity, and then there's kids that are in that camp, and it's that haven't prepared for that opportunity. So I'm not. It's like my teams. I'm not gonna wait for the two guys when I was coaching college that are always dragging behind. I'm focusing on the three guys that I need people to catch up to. I never. Why would I take away from my three toughest, hardest workers to let them catch up? No, I was. That's how I was when I was coaching. I mean, you got to catch up to them. That's your bad this summer. Sorry, fellas, they're going to kill you. They knew me, but that's what I say. At that point, parents out of the way, their noise out of the way, rankings are out of the way. They're there more than not because there was. You'd be surprised by the human spirit more than not as they slept in their bed, figured out how to get past that breaking point. You got to coach them. You got to have tactics and did things that they couldn't do. And I mean, they played at a level they didn't really believe they could play at. And so I've seen it with my own eyes and I've seen it with Uncommon. Part of it, like we talked about, is researching everything else around a 2024 player and what I've identified as guys that have been successful, uncommon or not, and the real talented kid that's fallen short. And there's some real things I think of why on both. If they're the exact same physical player.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about this upcoming class of 2025 and what right now kids are jumping in as far as getting ready to start their high school season. So let's talk about that, what they need to be expecting, or just some things they can, some little nuggets that they can take getting prepared for their last season of high school basketball.
Well, first and foremost, and the college coaches will say this to players that get on, those meetings with me on Monday to speak to players that I'm working with, and that's another kind of reiteration of what I've said all along. it's if you're a senior and you've played select and you've gone to all these showcase elite camps, yada yada, and maybe you're not getting the calls, or some kids press too hard and actually play themselves out of the scholarship. So again, I'll advise. In other words, they shoot themselves out. They do. Coaches are not dumb. 90% of college coaches, if you're physically a nice elite player, they're kind of seeing can they win with you. So, like I say, you should really be starting to focus on your senior year, playing to your highest level, helping your team win in any way possible. And if it means you're playing the five and you're really a three, then play the five to your best of your ability, dominate the five spot, and help your team win. And they'll know when you pop out here and there, they're the ones that are professionals. I'm telling you, they know that. That's been said weekly to my players. And by the way, before you know it, 30 games are done. And you got to enjoy the journey, and you got to enjoy that. And that's what my advice to players. I mean, and at the end of the day, if you roll into the spring and your team is winning, and it's a byproduct of your play, not just with the ball in your hands, that will increase your potential recruitment immediately. I mean, you got to be a player. We talked about that, but that increases and that gains real interest. Remember, coaches have problems bigger than they've ever had. They think players have had problems now. No. Coaches have problems. And they can't take a chance with the way the rules are set up more in favor of the kids on any little thing that can indicate that that kid can't win or that kid can't work through the transition from high school to college. If you can show that you have both of those, and there's a lot of little keys to that, then absolutely you put yourself in position of reaching your dream and the outcome that you're trying to obtain.
So when you work the recruiting side of college, when you were that guy looking towards though you see the kids that you used to recruit and so on, what were some of the things that you made sure? Because like you just said, you can be fooled a little bit as far as what looks like what. When you get them in the gym, what are the things that you need to make sure they did well from the recruiting side?
There's three things we talked about the conversation I had yesterday. I talked to 3 or 4 college coaches because my report's done. I mean, this is the time of year that all the players from my report, coaches will buy that report, and I mean, there's a lot of kids in there, and so it's the time where I'm getting to talk to a lot of coaches and catch up to them, and there's a universal message between them. I talked to a lot of parents yesterday because we have calls at night with players and parents, and then players that I'm currently working with. And I don't know, I think we used this example last week, after the St. Mary's camp. There's 2 really, really good players, really, really good players. And I'll give this to every parent. And I know player 1, he's going to be in college. I mean, he's going to make it, and not because of just me or not because of my assistant, because his dad gets it. His dad puts it on the child. So after the camp, when he didn't make it, we've had 2 calls at a film session, and he understood why, and now he has a plan to take that next step that's going to get him closer to what, again, I always said, it's what you don't know. And a showcase, there's not a lot of what that goes on like this. That's why I've created this. When I used to go to showcases, parents were walking out the door left and right saying, oh, those guys weren't passing. There's 10 different kids on a team. And that child didn't know what he needs to do. But the dad allowed me. The dad embraced it. The dad said, please call coach. I've talked to my son. Get on a call with, I want to say his name. I keep trying. Get on a call with so-and-so and make sure he knows what he needs to do after that camp to get it done. And I told him that. And I told him, man, you're letting your, like I said, you're letting your, jump shot predicate your drive. You need to be the opposite. You're one of the fastest guards in here. And you got Amari over there, who everybody loves. Amari's a good enough shooter, so you can't back off of him, but he's in attack mode. same speed. I can help that kid. We got 6 months. That's the kid like a Yashi McKenzie I just spoke about. That all I was dealing with was Yashi, and the dad supported it. KJ Williams' dad. So, and then there was another kid in dad that didn't make it. He's only a junior. He's got a crap ton to go to not only make it, but if he makes it, to be able to stay past a month. But is it the kid's fault? I'm not sure because he's protected so much. Oh, it ain't fair. He's just a child. The rules are set up. I mean, the more that kid knows that, the more he's going to stay at his comfort area, which is God-given ability. And there's too much talent across the country to take a chance, for coaches to take a chance. So I think if you're genuine, that's great, but it's not really me. It's if the kid embraces what they must do over the course of the season and the voice above embraces what I do to help. I've been about 100% successful because I'm already starting with an elite varsity player. They just need a roadmap. And that's why I get all my stuff that I do is straight from college coaches. I block out noise. It's not a beat writer. It's not a prep writer. I'm not against them, but I've used my relationships different before I promote them to my relationships the hardest. And we've talked about that. And so those are things that I think are important coming up in the season. If your child's benched and he ain't getting 2 hours, he ain't putting in the workout 2 hours a day, and he ain't going in there and being vocal, and he ain't guarding nobody, let him be benched. That's it. Let him figure it out, man. He may surprise you. You go fight his battle too quick, which I've been on both sides. I've learned a lot. I should do a study. You go fight his battle real quick, he ain't going to progress. He'll be the same senior as he is junior. I've seen freshmen in this season, the same juniors. They're just bigger, got a little mustache, same player. They ain't better defensively. They're not more vocal. They're not things that would actually increase their recruitment. And it's probably because they never got past the breaking point or never were uncomfortable. And I still believe in kids. Let them be uncomfortable a while. If they love basketball and that's their real dream, then they will conquer that wall and they will go to that next level that puts them in position to reach their dream. I do believe that.
I believe it too. I believe everyone needs adversity in their life. We need to fail. People need to fail, especially in sports. Failure is part of the progression. If you win, the first time you get failure, a lot of kids quit.
And it's hard now. It's just hard. And that's why I say there's 3 types of players. I try to encourage them with it. They have these little rules like 5.2% of kids make it and across America in high school. Let me tell you, I'll give you, a nugget. It's just a straight fact. So I always tell players, that's actually, you're really not, the guys that are in this room at my camp that are really serious, it's not all of y'all. I mean, we'll know by the end of the day. That's why I do my layouts the way I do. It's not a bad thing, but, or you'll learn something and you'll go back to work and do it. But I said, there's 3 type of players. So you're not really having to beat out 545,000 high school athletes. You really are not. There's one that plays 3 sports. At Johnson, he plays football, basketball, baseball. He's a good athlete. So there's that player. He's not. That's not a dream playing in college. I mean, there's kids that play 2 or 3 sports at every high school. That's player 1. Player 2 just plays basketball. And he loves, that's the sport he picks, and he's a good enough player. He's a varsity player. But he goes to practice, goes home. That's player 2. He's a participant. I call him, he's a participant. That's his sport that he likes to play. And that's fine. There's more majority of that guy. So you're not beating the first one out at all. He's playing 3 sports. He has no aspirations. He's going to go to Texas A&M, and he wants to go to big school. I mean, that kid's playing 3 sports. He's just a good athlete and likes to participate in. And then you got player 2 who just plays basketball, but he's not. His goal ain't to play college basketball. So I don't know why y'all are pushing him. You know your own child. I mean, if you want to identify if your child is that kid before you pay for all the other stuff, you got player 3 who absolutely plays basketball, and from his freshman year and sophomore year, man, he's finding ways to find the best strength coach. He's finding ways outside of practice time to get 2 to 3 hours of work in. So you're only beating out player 3. So you can cut that 544,000 and the 1/3. That's an encouraging sign for player 3. And if he stay out of his way for player 3, especially if he already's doing that, and put him in them situations, make him stick with it, I guarantee you're helping your child obtain a potential scholarship offer. And if he bitches to you and he's not the third player, put it on him. Because life is tough. I coached, I'm not an X and O's guy. I hated seeing kids from Mississippi, Georgia, anywhere, Coach Talley. I didn't even have a month to try to change their life. And I'd say, where's Sip? Where's John? He got on a bus last night. Those are the guys that broke my heart. Those are those experiences I had when I just needed more time to get him to stick through it. And then you got another guy. There was very few that came in with that mindset. But that's why I say it's getting harder and harder. Kids are still kids, but the rule changes are making it more and more player driven. Like giving a 16 or 17-year-old a lot of rights and a lot of things that, man, they're really not mature enough to understand. So if the people around them are really important, the voice above is really important, and the action steps players are taking with noise is really important. Like you said, rankings are coming out. Man, I didn't give a shit who was ranked when I was coaching college. I mean, man, I'm caring. They're worried about grinding every day to figure out who they can win with. It's who's ranked at the end of the year. I tell players the season started, it's how you're playing with this portal for not at the last month of the year. Not now. That's what I mean. Start enjoying the season. What's the last month look like? And it's too late if you're sheltering them, it's too late to change habits. That's where I get my heart broken now when kids I don't see till the spring that I'm trying to call because I think I have a real shot in this city.
So you mentioned, and this will be the last question for you. You mentioned you really don't like to do a lot of camps in the springtime, and I understand why. But what is a good roadmap for a kid to where, let's say he's a junior, because we talked about this last time, and we kind of mentioned, the kind of perfect kid that jumps into the uncommon approach. This is probably a junior. That way you get 2 seasons to really work with them and get them where you need to get them, because you can get strides for them and get a good benchmark. What is the blueprint for that? Because I know you said you got the class.
I say if anybody's called you from a recruiting service, before you pay for one dime, book a call at ucexposurerecruits.com. You can DM me. You have my information. You can email uncommonbasketball@gmail.com. I'll give you a link. My call is free. And I need to know what your current situation is, what your current level of play is. And I have several avenues that save you money before you're locked in a contract that give you a lot of insight from college prep evaluations. People don't know that. People do highlight films at a high level, and my version of that for a one-time fee is I get a couple of college coaches to evaluate full games. You want to know what you are, what you're not? Nobody sees that. It's not a knock or constructive. It's straight from the guys you're trying to figure out what they're thinking. Everything I've done is really a resource, a tool for a player to really get it directly from college coaches. So the college prep evaluation is usually 4 to 5 pages long. Now we look at clips that would scratch you. We look at clips that move you up a board. We talk about your position and what you have to do on game films that stand out. So basically it's a guide to grow in your game, and it's straight from the evaluation of game films. Why did I kind of come up with that? There's 2 reasons. A pandemic, there was a shutdown and coaches needed help. So I kind of created that, and it just circled and circled and circled. And man, I got 8 or 9 coaches evaluating games. These kids were hitting me up. They couldn't get out. And then it circled into the fact that if somebody called me outside of camps, I don't work with everybody as far as like selling this exposure dream. The first thing we do is the evaluation to see really what level you are. If you're deemed D3 or whatever, then yes, we can go to the next stage. If not, it's a good tool to grow your game heading into season. The other thing I do for players at junior, um, that I'm going to continue to do now. I didn't know till today, but I will continue just one day a week. I'm not going to take over any trainer space, but that's not what we're trying to do. But the college prep workouts are a good feel to see if you're really ready to work and understand what a college level workout's like and what that kind of intensity is. And are you ready to do it? Sometimes I see a kid one time and I never see him again. And I know if that makes sense. The kids that came to all
Yes,
8
it
to 9 to
does.
10, the kids that came to 8 to 9 to 10 workouts that I've had the last 2 months, I really believe in the fall they're going to get off to a fast start. Everything that we tested, everything we did, they got better in every facet. They're not to the end, but they're prepared for those first games to be doing things at a higher level. But they were uncomfortable over, I guess, 2 months until it became comfortable. Now all they're doing is playing at a higher level and playing and adding some strengths that they didn't think, really important. So I'm
Right.
looking forward to watching them, my man. I'm pulling for those kids. So we're going to be doing those on Sundays in November from 5 to 7 at Gervin Center. So those two things for starters are a good way for me to really assess and really advise you. Whether you want my advice or not, it's going to be genuine. If I say you're not ready for A and B, but we can get you there, now the work begins.
Okay.
And I can help the kid that was driving home that the dad called and said he needs to hear that.
Right.
Thank you, coach. I'm gonna say that's how KJ Williams' dad was, and he's a damn good player. So if he can do
Right.
it, and it's led to a school, multiple offers. I mean, he's gonna announce pretty soon where he's committing. I'm not gonna give that up, but if he can do it, and you're not at his level, and you're serious, why ain't you doing it? I got time.
Right.
If KJ can embrace that, and it only benefits KJ in every aspect, and you're trying to navigate through this, so what? I save you money. That's the only knock I hear, which is crazy, Coach Tally.
Mm-hmm.
His prices are so affordable. Like, is it real? Damn, you want me to charge you $3,400, like NCSA's highest package, to talk to a guy at the end of the month that ain't never seen you? And come on, man. The basketball demographic of African American kids and others, it's not golf that my son plays. That's it. Me and Tom Brown always spoke about that. That was
Mm-hmm.
10 years ago. I ain't saying that's all across the board. I'm saying I'm looking for who really wants it, and that's why I try to make it affordable. But if they start to go off track, I tell parents, you're not stuck. Be a parent. If their
Mm-hmm.
academics ain't good. I mean, because I'm trying to give coaches, like I am connected. I'm tired of it, but I'm trying. I got to be credible because of having a real relate. So I'm trying to get them prepared players. Give me time to prepare them because I know that's the only player they're going to pull the trigger on when it comes to a high school senior,
Right.
and they will take winners. If you're paying for something that's not identifying winning and losing and film sessions and all that, and I always say, what are you paying for? What is Johnny's plan to get him to college with time on your side? And that's ultimately important. It's really important that that voice above allows him to take that road. There is no easy road to college. There's a lot of money roads that are being paid out there, but there's no easy road. None.
Okay.
There's none. There's none. I don't even know how that's an enigma to anybody. It's just not.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know either, but I
And
just want to make it.
it's okay if your player won.
I just want to make it to where there's a lot of kids here that don't understand the system. They don't understand the way, the true breakdown, and then having someone like yourself speak every week and talk about it, and then kind of put some, again, even if it's one kid a week that we can put you in contact with to start the uncommon approach. Hey, man, I believe I did my job, and I just want
Me
to help as
too.
many
That's why I'm on
kids.
here every week, and I'm really appreciative. Like I said, I just want kids that are if their basketball is their primary sport. I don't. They could be in. They don't. I love. That's fine. That's give me a chance to work. I mean, I don't just out there. I see if they're ready. It's kind of like a college team. I wanted my college teams to play their best the last month. I gotta have a little time before they understand. I gotta have a little time to get a little relationship to get them. If that's one of their girls in their primary, you got to give me a little time.
Right.
When I've had time, that's I guess what I'm saying, and you're saying, and I've had a good voice above that sees the value in the time. I'm pretty much about 100%, and that comes from last night getting a call for the number 3 team in the country now, and I mean, that's my strength. But man, I was so proud to hear. I didn't know if he was playing. I just was checking in with Coach Bostwick, and shit. Not only is Yoshi McKenzie playing for everybody when I was pushing him the way I was pushing him, and everybody said I'm better than him. He ain't got. Nah, I know exactly. I'm an old time kid. Winners are winners. I know what coaches look for. I was so proud of he's leading their team. That's success. And his dad and mom were very embraceful of how I challenged and pushed Yoshi to play to his strengths, what he had to do. His jump shot never really got better, but I told him how to eliminate that question mark over time. And he stood the course. Here's what he did, and here's what most kids need to do to beat the portal. I was getting nervous. Nobody had really pulled the trigger. I got him so many opportunities, and man, he did exactly what he needed to do, but it just takes one. And I knew if he got one, he was going to make me look good. So that, because I had seen him in camps and other things under duress where he responded. He didn't blame the coach, didn't blame the position. And not only did he respond, he found ways to win when that ball wasn't going in the hole.
Right. Right. Well,
and I'm telling
hey,
you,
he had a tough high school coach too. So with both of you guys really pushing him, and again, it paid off. See, again, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that right there. No, he didn't panic.
No, but I'm saying
he
that's a good thing for your high school kids. You asked me about high school season. I say, quit thinking about exposure now. Think about playing to your highest level.
Right.
You can't doubt and start like saying, I got to shoot. That's what happens. Oh, I got to shoot more. Somebody's giving you the wrong advice. And I say,
that's just it.
I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a parent and somebody said, or if you're, and they've never signed anybody, book a call with me. I'll get a call. That's facts. I don't have.
Hey, what'd you say? If they never booked anybody to get
no. If they've never been in the boardroom and they're telling them you got to shoot more, I'm being dead serious.
I know. I'm not gonna. Funny.
I was saying, and they're saying, don't shoot more. You got to do this. You got to do four. And they've never ever been a collegiate basketball coach. They've never offered anybody. They've never known when you're down to the last 3 names what really could help that. Then I would say book a call with me and see because that's all I've ever done. That's what Uncommon's been created for. And I'll get another college coach to talk to your child. I can make a call. And then you'll really know that that's really not that important. That may save a child's potential recruitment. And that's what I do when I can actually work with a kid long enough. I just keep everything straight from inside the mind of a college coach. Me, friends, my camps are staffed by college coaches. The reason I'm doing that to get real exposure is I say don't accept anything. There's no tricks to what I'm doing, but it's helped a lot of kids that are in that really want to try to play. And so even with my staffs, I mean, I'm not in the fall and summer, I'm trying to create an atmosphere where these college coaches, I say it right up front of the campus, man, if I don't want them to accept anything that they wouldn't accept that Alvin Brooks would accept. Man, I like our last coaches from Lamar, or Coach Mudge at Sam Houston State. I just won the league. Coach Terriante's now at New Mexico State. They're awesome to have. Coach Black. I mean, don't accept anything that y'all would accept at a Texas State practice and conference. Why would you today? But ain't a defensive stop that Texas State would accept, then you're not going to gain exposure. Some rise up, some fall down, some fall apart. And if you fall apart, you need, well, all you can do, your only choice is to go back and say, do I really want to go do this? Like I talked about Tate with golf. He was bitching the last tournament because of score, because he got coached by that guy and he changed all his swings. You're talking about the number one coach. I said, of course he changed everything. You're in 10th grade. Wow. You shot. I said, either do two things, wait till your fall season's over to have enough time to work on it, or, you know what I mean? Or go back to, I said, but same thing. Like, he's got to get back to work now because they changed. In a year, he's got to do another year of work. So he started off hot and they're fixing and making improvements. Now he's uncomfortable. But he's a 10th grader, I reminded him. And I said, I'd stay uncomfortable. What all you really got to do instead of all this bad body language in that second tournament, coach, because Tate's a passionate guy. I said, you're going to have to put the same amount of reps that you did for a year till dark with the new changes, because the changes are only going to make you from good golfer to a great golfer. But you got to start. You got to do it. You paid the best of the best to fix your swing, and now you're thinking it's going to happen in a week. Nope. So that's my message to Tate. So it transcends. That's probably because of my background. I pray for him. I hope for him. But you can slam the club down all you want. You got about another year to stay up there till the last guy at night and swinging that new swing that guy taught you. I mean, so again, that's a great voice. And that's what I'm saying to you. If you're getting a voice that's anything about recruitment that's never offered anybody, they shouldn't be given that. I mean, I'm not a certified weight strength coach.
Right.
I used to be at West Texas. I had to be the strength coach. I took a year of classes. I had a passion. And so once I got certified, I felt comfortable with being able to make our team stronger, basketball specific. I studied it, but I'm not a strength coach anymore. I was 2 decades ago. So go find a strength coach that has the highest accolades if you want to get strong, but he shouldn't be telling you what you should do on the floor. He ain't never signed nobody. Figure out, find some resources. And that's where I'm a resource for any player. And that's where I get other college coaches to get input. That's where I use their help in the fall. It's your cheat sheet playing your best basketball in the spring and really understanding what really matters in the recruitment process. And I promise you, it ain't dribble 84 times and shit, they ain't giving you the ball and shoot the high post. You got to shoot more and yada, yada. I promise you it ain't that.
Well, give me your final thoughts for this week, and then we'll wrap it up, and then we'll be prepared to do the same thing next week, man.
Well, I want to start something next week. I probably need to give you a pre-question to drive it because it's being on both sides of the ball. I really would like to do this. I don't know if it's something that'll really help the community, but there's so much, I guess, complaints, and a lot of it's driven towards coaches. I couldn't do it. I mean, I said I did high school for a couple of years. People don't know that. I mean, I was too observant of the kind of things that they had to do and what they have to do to, get a paycheck and put food on their table. And so I like to give some scenarios that really happen that the college coaches are talking about. And then you got a player and then put some people that, and maybe it'll help, maybe it won't, but put people that are kind of having complaints already and the season hasn't even started. And there's more of those that I kind of hear about, and ask them what they would do. Maybe they're an insurance agent in the stands. Maybe they, I don't know, maybe they're a CPA. Maybe they're a nurse. I don't know. But if they've never been in that position, I would think that'd be a very interesting thing to get feedback and give them the exact scenario instead of complaining, because I like solutions.
Right.
And if you can make them think, kind of like getting a kid to think at a higher level, maybe we can just make a small impact. I'm still dumb enough with Uncommon, with some of the things I see, to continue to really believe to make a small impact. And man, but I get so proud to not only see the guys in the 2024 class that came through Uncommon, not only playing, but playing at a high level. I just know they're going to stay the course. That's really the ultimate goal. is not only get there, man, but stay the course. They're going to have downtimes. They're going to be benched there. I tell kids they're going to try to out recruit you at the end of every year. So if you're mid-level high, that's their job. They got it. So what do you have to do? You've got to come back better after the summer. They're not gonna. So that's where the fine line we talk about summer and select and changing teams. You play so much basketball. You got to balance some of your off-season time and how much work you're putting in on your craft. Like you mentioned, a kid locally. I'm not going to mention his name. It's been mentioned now, but man, he's not super great or not much athlete, but he's a super great worker that has worked on his craft consistently.
Right.
And now has offers. He brings something to the table. He's a college-ready shooter, but that didn't happen by going just to practice and going home. It's just not the way it works.
Right. Well, hey, man. Unfortunately, we got to wrap it up. Appreciate your time. And yes, we'll implement that. So the way I see doing it is just put the question out, and then we'll get answers, and we'll talk about discussion the following week. So we'll put that little scenario out next week, and hopefully we'll get some good feedback from it. And that'll be kind of our lead to the next discussion.
That'd be great. I mean, I think I'm going to start jotting them down when I hear crazy questions that I know that I can't answer at that time, and I know I want to tell them, man, this will truly help. Then I can write some of those down, and that could be something that we put in some scenarios and kind of flip it. Maybe just put more thought into it. Right. And so it's not about being negative. It's just put more thought into it and see if that can help more players. Because again, the only players I've been able to help, they've been kind of left alone. And again, that didn't surprise me. I know what the human spirit can do. When you know how to coach them, when you know how to. There's times when you got to get them on the side. There's times when you got to encourage them. There's times when you got to hold them. That's really what I enjoy doing now that I'm not doing it with my college players. But the uncommon more than anything is the behind the scenes, coaching them through the process while promoting them, the player profiles. And that's the easy thing. And that's really what I enjoy, seeing them really playing themselves into a higher level of and then succeeding.
Well, like I say, man, thank you again, Coach. I really appreciate you, man, for helping this platform and just doing what you do. Because again, the city needs you. If no one tells you that, I really believe it. And I support you. Again, this is why we're here. So thank you again, man.
Well, I ain't moving. So I ain't moving. I mean, let's say come get me. I ain't moving nowhere. I mean, my family's here. I mean, I work all around the state of Texas, but this is home to me. I grew up
exactly. Mine too. I was just, it's funny that you said that. I was just talking to somebody about how much I love San Antonio and how much, I know I'm not, I didn't graduate from here, so I get it. But the Army's brought me here, and I fell in love with the city the first time I came here back in 1992. And I said, hey, man, if I can find a way to make this home, I'm making it home. And I did. I love this city, man. I love this city. Don't get me wrong. I love being from Philadelphia, but I love being where I'm at, man. I love this city with all my heart.
Well, I mean, you're doing a good job. And again, I appreciate you kind of inviting me on this platform, and I'll let you go and I'll get to work myself. And man, we'll talk soon.
All right, brother.
And if you got any kids that want to come out on Sundays, you can send them my contact or just shoot me a contact that I think it's a good kid. I'll reach out and invite them. That's all I can do. And they'll see if it's for them or not. I mean, they'll come to work out. That's all it is. It's a session. I appreciate it.
All right, well, thanks.